Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the AmandaFest podcast. I'm Amanda, and I am your host. The intention of this podcast is to inspire and empower you to take aligned action towards your dream life, whatever that looks like for you. Today, we have another solo episode. As promised, we're going to be doing these once every other episode. Today's episode is all about embracing change, stepping outside of your comfort zone, and navigating the highs and lows of stepping into your most authentic self. Before we begin, as we've done with every episode, just going to take a moment for us all to get together and ground down. So, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if it's safe to do so, I invite you to close down your eyes. Just take some inventory of where you're at right now, what your baseline is. Taking some nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And with the inhale, setting an intention for this moment. And with your exhale, releasing anything that no longer serves you, releasing any stress, tension, mental worry, whatever it might be. Just letting that go for the time being and really grounding down into the present moment, into the here and now. We're going to take a couple nice cleansing breaths together like that. Nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And last one, nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Welcome. Welcome back to the AmandaFest podcast. It's been a hot minute since I've seen and chatted with you guys. So much has happened. I want to talk about my experience. I just got back from Toronto. I know I spent the last few episodes setting the scene for what that was going to be. You guys got to meet Rachel in the Raving to Remember Who You Are episode. In the last solo podcast I recorded before I left for Toronto, giving you guys a little bit of insight as to what that experience was going to be. And now here I am back a week later to share about that experience. So let's just dive right into that. So for those who don't know, who need a little bit of a recap, I launched the AmandaFest LLC in February of this year. So February 2024 is when I decided I wanted to start my own thing. Not too much clarity on exactly what it was, but I knew what the name was. I knew what the general vibe was. And I was like, we're just going to figure this out. Come May, I launched this podcast. And then by the summertime, I enrolled in a content creator course, which is the episode with Sky Cohen, How to Show Up Authentically in the Digital Dimension. If you haven't checked out that episode, it's amazing. But I basically signed up for Sky's course, talking all about building a personal brand, how to show up authentically on social media. And since that moment, I've been doing that. I've been showing up authentically on social media, which then led to a slide in the DMs from this girl named Rachel, who's based in Toronto, who hosts these all-women's sober dance parties. She started these last year, and each one has been increasing, getting more and more people and more hype. She essentially saw what I was posting and what I was presenting on social media. Somebody actually sent her my profile. She loved what I was doing, and she was like, girl, how can I support you? How can we collaborate? What can we do? We ended up getting on a quick phone call. She came on my podcast, and then the next step was she invited me to come out to Toronto. It all happened very, very fast, honestly, within like a month. The piece that I forgot to tap in on, which was kind of cool, is that earlier this year, simultaneously when I started my LLC, I also said yes to a remote 9-to-5 because I needed a way to make money to sustain myself while I figured out and got clarity on what I was building here. And so I actually quit that 9-to-5. November 1st was my last day. And Rachel slid in my DMs on November 4th. So just like confirmation from the universe that I'm on the right path, that things are aligned, because it didn't take very long for the first opportunity to present itself. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. The entire time I had this 9-to-5, I was essentially working 2 jobs, like hustling my ass off to make this happen. I'm happy to share all this with you guys because, again, this is the intention of this podcast, is how do you take that aligned action towards your dream life? And what if you can't quit your 9-to-5? And what if you don't have the time and you don't have the money and you don't have the energy? This is my story of how I've been able to figure it out. Obviously, every single person is different. The way in which you're able to show up is different. But if you have enough time to listen to this podcast, you have enough time to scroll on social media for a few minutes a day, you have enough time to take intentional action, even if it's tiny, even if it's little, every single day towards your dream life. So that's the backstory. So basically, I said yes to going to Toronto to host this event with a complete stranger. And it was unbelievable. It was one of the coolest, most amazing, heart fulfilling experiences I've had in a really long time. And people often ask me, they say, Amanda, how do all these amazing, crazy things happen to you? How do you manifest all these wild experiences? And my answer, honestly, and often is I say yes to things that most people would say no to, right? Most people would get a DM from a random person and maybe even disregard it, let alone actually engage, let alone take the leap of faith to fly to another country to go do this thing. And mind you, I did all this just off of my intuition, right? I flew out there. Rachel offered to pick me up from the airport. She offered to host me, and I'm just went trusting that this experience was going to be what I thought it was. Also trusting myself enough to know that if it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, that I have enough tools and ability and autonomy and know how to be safe within my own self, right? Just trusting yourself and knowing that no matter what the situation is, obviously hoping for the best, hoping it's going to be the most amazing, magical, unique experience, but also being a realist and knowing that things happen and maybe we connected and things weren't aligned or she wasn't who she said she was, whatever. I came in prepared with all of the scenarios of whatever it is, I'll figure it out. Worst case scenario, I get a hotel and I book a flight back. Like, it's not that deep. That was not the case. I landed in Toronto and Rachel picked me up. There's a video of us when we first met. She like frolicked out of the car and came and hugged me, and it truly felt like we've known each other for ages. It was like one of the most beautiful, special, wild experiences I've had in a really long time. That day was really beautiful. She took me out for coffee. We did some admin work. I don't know if any of you guys have hosted events before. Even the few days leading up to it, there's a lot of admin. There's a lot of stuff to do. I've worked in entertainment. I've hosted tons of events. I know exactly how it goes. So it was like a very comfortable situation from the get-go, where obviously she was hosting me, but I let her know, like, hey, I know that you're in prep mode for an event. I'm here to support you, whatever it is that I can do. Like, happy to be here, happy to just be in the energy of this space. Day one was so much fun. We passed by a playground and we're playing on the swings and just releasing our inner children and just being like these fun little playful fairy angels. And then I got to kind of trail her around as she did her prep for the event. And one thing that I noticed that I really loved about her that I miss about my old life is, Rachel's one of these people that makes friends with everyone, similar to me. And it was so fun following her around in her little hometown in Toronto. So one of the stops was we had to go pick up a mic, for the mic system for the event, and she's friends with the people there, and we got to have that experience. And then we went to go pick up, she had non-alcoholic beverages, and there was this local non-alcoholic beverage shop, and she was friends with the guy there. Then we needed to go pick up some other stuff across the street, and she ran into the guy that works at the hardware store across the street from her, and she's friends with him. And I forgot, because I've been traveling for so long, the beauty in like these like little relationships that you have with people, or her random neighbors that live down the block from her, that it's like people that you maybe wouldn't be friends with outside of whatever circumstance brings you together, but you build these connections and these bonds with people through, whether it's circumstantial, whether they live next door to you, whether you're doing business with them. And it was just so beautiful to be the witness of that and to see her in her element with that, and just to remember all the people in my life that I've had those beautiful relationships with. It made me think a lot about like when I was living in LA, I lived in this beautiful apartment complex in West Hollywood, and I had all of these kooky neighbors that were amazing, but people that I would have never, ever, ever been friends with had they not been my neighbors. But these were people that I came to like love and cherish and spend time with every single day, and watch them get married and have children and just be a part of these people's lives. And when people ask me, wow, like traveling full time, that must be so fun. That must be so amazing. And yes, it is. There's so much duality to it. But one of the things that I do truly miss about just like being in one place is those relationships, is having those people that are kind of like on the outskirts of your friend circle and the outskirts of your social circles, but truly have such an impact on your life. It's just so beautiful and special. So that was really sweet. I made a post today saying that when people in my life have things that I'm desiring, instead of jealousy, I channel that into yes, thank you, universe. Because in my mind, when somebody close to me has something that I'm desiring, it's a sign from the universe saying it's close, it's coming, it's in your field, it's here. It is literally in front of you for a reason. And these 3 days in Toronto were such a testament to that. I think so many elements of the way in which Rachel showed up, what she was building, the way she interacted with her community. She has a budding new relationship that just was like so inspiring to me. And all of these things, for me, being in her energy, and obviously the universe just like placing her in my DMs and sending me to Toronto to go experience being with her, I was just like, wow, okay, it's in my field, it's coming, these things are really close, and I'm so excited. So, the event, I have traveled all around the world. 2023, I went all around Europe. I was in the UK, Amsterdam, Croatia, Portugal, Belgium. I've been traveling all around the US, Miami, Nashville, Austin, Denver, Boulder, New York City, LA, then outside, and then in Mexico, Tulum. I'm about to go to Playa del Carmen. I've been to all of these amazing, incredible places in the world. And as I've been traveling, specifically in the last few years, I have been tapping into conscious communities. So high vibe, intentional communities that are creating events, curating experiences for people to tap back into themselves, to connect deeper with themselves, to raise the vibration of themselves and thus the universe, right? So I've been tapped into this world. I've been involved in ecstatic dance and 5 rhythms and plant medicine ceremonies and all these different modalities, all these different things. I've seen it. What Rachel has created in Toronto is so beautiful and so special. So she started this thing called Reunion. This event specifically, it was 150 all women, sober, substance free, no alcohol event for people to connect back to themselves, to remember who they are. And my role, what I was invited to do, was to lead the opening activation. So at the beginning of the event, I saged everyone as they came in. I like to think of it as before you step into an event, there should always be a welcome portal, because you want to feel like you're stepping into an experience, truly stepping through a threshold into an entirely new world whenever you're going to any type of event, anything like that. So what I offered Rachel was, I was like, hey, I would love to curate an experience for your guests as they step through the threshold, for them to truly be able to tap into their magic, let go of what no longer serves them, and really step into this experience clear, open-hearted, and ready to embrace whatever magic is about to unfold. So I offered a welcome portal where I saged everybody as they came into the space. I welcomed them up with high energy, good vibes, of course. I said, like, welcome to this event. I gave them an opportunity to drop in with their breath. Same thing that we do at the top of this episode. Close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, set an intention for this evening. Think about what you want to call in, what you're looking to experience, what you want to be filled up with, what you want to embrace more of. Through the exhale, letting go of what no longer serves you, whatever stress, whatever negative energy, whatever thing is happening in your mind. Sometimes when you show up to parties and events, your brain is like, ah, and you're thinking about all these different things, and it's like, just let it go, let it go, let it go, leave it at the door, leave it here. So I saged everybody as they stepped through the space. I also gave them all a hug and kind of just like hyped them, like get them like really excited about what they're about to step into. I got amazing feedback on that experience. Highly recommend if you're ever creating an event and or going to an event, just being super intentional about the energy that you're bringing with you into the space, right? Sometimes we have a bad day. Sometimes we hit traffic on the way there. Sometimes somebody fucking cuts us off in the parking lot. Sometimes our mom calls us right before and says something rude, or we get in a fight with our boyfriend or whatever it is. Just being mindful about the kind of energy that you're stepping into spaces with and doing whatever it is that you can to clear that energy before you step in. So that was my goal and intention, to support people in that, to help you do that so that it's not a burden that you have to take on. Then we stepped into the space. The party honestly was started like right away. It was fucking hype, like things were going, it was popping. And then Rachel did her little opening thing, and then she invited me to come lead the AmandaFest live experience. So I was really nervous, I'm not gonna lie. To be completely honest, I've done versions and iterations of this before, but this was my first time as the AmandaFest brand leading an in-person event, right? I've been doing these podcasts. We're now on episode 29, getting comfortable with talking to the camera, getting comfortable with interviewing guests, getting comfortable with showing up consistently on social media. Obviously, I have a background in theater and acting and hosting events and doing all these things, but showing up as me with nobody to hide behind was really fucking scary, I'm not gonna lie. But of course, as you know, if you've been listening to this, you know how I operate. My perspective is feel the fear and do it anyway. If I feel fear, that means go, right? If I feel that, like, oh my God, this is such an edge for me, that is a sign to me that, like, let's do this, let's push ourselves, let's get out of our comfort zone, let's do something. Like, so I got on stage and I led 150 women through this activation. And this activation consisted of a little bit of breath work, a little bit of guided visualization, and then a little bit of somatic movement exercises to get people comfortable with each other, comfortable in their bodies, and then hyped up and ready to go. The goal was to get them out of their heads, into their bodies, ready to party, connecting to themselves through intentionality and play, and just ready to be free and express. And it went so well. I got incredible feedback. The women were just so hyped. The rest of the event was so high vibe, so incredible. Rachel's set was amazing. The second DJ was so good. She curated the event in such a way that it felt so connected and beautiful and intentional, but also like not too woo-woo, right? Like it was a fucking like warehouse rave is what it felt like. It was fun. We were partying, we were dancing, we were screaming, we were letting shit go. Towards the end, she started to wrap it up and brought us back down. And then we did this really beautiful share circle where the women got to share about their experience and what this was for them. And my share, I was talking about all of these different places that I've been to, all of these amazing events that I've been to, that I've experienced all around the world, and just the true magic that was created that night with that experience. And something that I noticed as well is I started in a place like LA, which was super saturated with these types of events, which is amazing. Like the fact that every single night I could go to something like that in LA is like, what a fucking gift. But I'm realizing, and what I was starting to realize when I was feeling ready to leave LA, was that like it's so important for people that are doing this type of work to share it, to spread it, to bring it outside of these little tiny communities and to spread them deeper, because people need this work. And I really saw that in Toronto. The women in Toronto were just so grateful to have a space to feel safe, to connect, to dance, to move, to feel like they could just authentically relate to each other and be in their own bodies. It was just so amazing. And just such a reminder that this work is so necessary, that this work is so needed, and that this work is so important beyond just the conscious communities or the spiritual communities. My goal and my intention in the work that I'm doing is to take all of this super woo-woo spiritual work, make it digestible, and to share it to more people, to make it feel mainstream, to make it normal, because everybody has feelings. Everybody has things they need to move through that they want to express. They want to feel safe. They want to feel seen. They want to have fun. And spaces like this are so fucking important to be able to support people in tapping into those experiences. So all of this to say, if you are listening to this and you're like, oh my God, wow, I wish I had something like this where I live, or I would love to experience partying intentionally, but I don't even know where to begin or how to do that. I am going to do a quick little plug. I just released my pre-game meditation. It's live right now on my link in bio on my Instagram. If you message me directly, I can also send it to you. But what this is I created basically an abbreviated version of what I did live here in Toronto. So this can be done instead of pre-gaming and or in addition to your existing pre-game regimen. So if you do choose to participate in substances, totally fine. If you are looking to experience something sober, also totally fine. This also doesn't have to just be used for a party. This can be used for any social experience that you're about to step into, whether it be date night, whether it be a work dinner, whether it be a rave, whether it be a concert, whether you're going to a festival, whatever it is. This is a quick 5-minute meditation that you can pop on and listen to help you get clear on your intentions for your experience, to get out of your head into your body and feeling like you're stepping into whatever experience you're going into with intentionality. I've shared this before, but prior to learning about intentionality, learning about, showing up in these spaces with a specific purpose, I used to show up in these spaces like everyone else on autopilot. And my autopilot brain was hardwired towards feeling seen, feeling validated, specifically towards men, right? I was really desiring to meet somebody every single time I went out, right? No matter what my goal, everywhere I went, I was looking around and being like, who's looking at me? Oh my God. And it would always I would scan the room, I'd pick one guy, and if I didn't get his attention, the whole night would be a fucking bust. I could be at the best concert ever. I could be with my greatest friends that I haven't seen in ages. We could be at the coolest pop-up. It didn't matter where I was, what I was doing, because I was not clear on my intentions of what my experience was meant to be. And I was on autopilot, and my autopilot was not serving me. First of all, I wouldn't have fun at the actual experience, which is the whole fucking point. You want to have fun, you want to enjoy yourself. And then I would just be sad. And so I am gifting this to all of you. I'll actually put the link in the show notes here if you guys want to listen to it. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Just try it. And let me know what you think. I'm so curious. It's something that I wish that I knew a little bit more about earlier on. I think it would have enhanced so many of my social experiences, but again, I went through what I went through, and I'm sharing what I'm sharing in hopes that it supports you guys moving forward. So let me know how that goes. I'm very excited to hear your feedback on that, and there will be more soon. I'm going to be working on a few more meditations, some more gifts for you guys, and some more ways to put into practice a lot of the things that I share about on this podcast. So I'm really excited about that. Another thing I wanted to touch on was navigating the highs and lows of stepping into your authentic self. So I just came off of this incredible high of stepping into my dharma. Dharma is my purpose, my mission, why I was brought here. Feeling incredible, supporting 150 women, getting amazing feedback, stepping out of my comfort zone, doing something scary, doing all of these things, amazing. And I came back to New York and I just dipped. And I want to talk about that for a second because, again, I don't think people are transparent enough about the highs and lows of just being a human. I'm such a happy, positive person most of the time, and from what you guys can see, but I just want to share, and I've shared so many times on this podcast, but I don't think it could be said enough. The people that shine the brightest have the capacity to go to the lowest places. I have many friends that are big and bright and bold and beautiful, and especially after an event, right? There's a dopamine high, and then it depletes, right? It's like when you take MDMA, you go up, 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 and then you go down, 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 down. Same concept. So I came back from Toronto, I was feeling amazing. I was so excited. I was so proud of myself. I'm so excited about what's coming in the future. And I started to go low and I got sad. And, I had a couple other things that were happening simultaneously. I was seeing somebody for a little bit and it didn't turn out the way that I had hoped it would. And that was disappointing for a variety of reasons. And, I feel like the feeling, and I'm just going to be really fucking vulnerable with you guys, of like where I'm at and what's been going on. I'm extremely independent. Obviously, I do all these things by myself. I preach it all the time, but it's so important to have independence and to be able to do these things and to show up intentionally as the person that you want to become. And it's hard. And I do desire partnership and I do desire to be with someone. And I feel like the feeling that I've been feeling lately and the emotion that was coming up for me in the dip from this event was feeling like I have to do everything alone, whether it be traveling, whether it be building a business, whether it be just like doing life in general. I do desire to have a partner that can build and grow and create and live life with. And it's hard sometimes when I am so focused on stepping into the most authentic version of myself and showing up in all these different ways, and there's still that feeling of, but I also want someone to do it with. And so I'm just speaking to that and just want to share, if you're feeling similar feelings, you're not alone. um, you're not alone in feeling like you're alone, if that makes sense at all. um, but I know the only thing to do is just to continue to become that which I seek, right? Because I want to be an energetic match for this super high value, incredible, amazing man that I'm calling into my sphere by becoming all of the qualities that I seek in him, right? I'm looking for somebody that is independent, that is ambitious, that is doing the things that bring him joy, that is serving, that is being of impact, that is compassionate, that has a good relationship with their family, that supports their friends, that, all of these things. And I'm doing them and I'm being them and I'm embodying them and I'm showing up as her, as this version of myself. And I'm holding firm in the knowing that my divine aligned partner is coming, and I know he is. And at the same time, this relationship that didn't work out was just such a reminder to me, to not settle, just because I'm seeking partnership. This person was wonderful and he checked a lot of the boxes of what I'm looking for. And he showed me that there are a few other non negotiables that I wasn't even aware of. That has helped me to gain even more clarity as to what I'm truly desiring. So, and for that, I'm super grateful. It was a really beautiful experience with him, and the dissolution of the romantic portion of our relationship was really mature and well articulated and well received. And now we're going to transition into a friendship, which I'm really looking forward to, because there are so many qualities in him that I feel are so beautiful and supplemental to my life and what I'm building and what I'm creating. And the reality of the fact that he was not in alignment with what I'm seeking for romantic partnership is very true as well. And I was like a little resistant on sharing this because obviously like that's really personal, and I don't know, it's like it's a fine line of being vulnerable online and also protecting my peace. But I do feel like the relationship part of things and navigating that is an area of my life that I really struggled with. And so as I'm navigating that, I'd love to share with you guys. And also I'll kind of go back, in later episodes and share a little bit more of like my journey with that. But I'm hoping whoever needed to hear that piece of wisdom hears it. Don't settle just because you're lonely. Don't say yes and continue to spend your time and energy and spend somebody else's time and energy moving forward with something that you know deep down is not aligned. And just continue to stay true and honest with yourself and know that what you're seeking is coming. It's getting closer. It's on its way. Every single no is one step closer to a yes, right? You get 100 no's, you get one yes. We're on our way there, and every single experience is a lesson, and I'm grateful for all of it. So I think that's a beautiful segue into preparation for 2025. This is my last solo episode before 2025. I have some amazing guests lined up for the new year. I am so excited to share these incredible stories and people with you and just to experience this podcast grow. And I'm just so stoked. As I prepare for 2025, my intention is to do a deep reflection. So I have a few days left here, and I have some journal prompts I'm going to be going through before I start getting clarity on what I'm calling in for 2025. I want to do a deep reflection of 2024 and really sit in gratitude. I think so often we can get towards the end of the year and we're like, well, I didn't do this and I didn't do that and I didn't check this off my bucket list and blah, blah. But we often forget to give ourselves credit for all of the amazing things that we did accomplish in the year, of all the amazing places we did go, of all the relationships we deepened, of all the lessons we learned, of all of the things that have unfolded in the last 365 days. So my intention for the end of 2024 is to do this deep reflection, do some deep gratitude work, do some patting myself on the back of all the amazing, incredible things that I did accomplish, that I did do. And then I'm going to sit down and get clear, very, very clear on what I'm calling in for 2025. We talk about intentions all the time for events, for social experiences. Well, setting intentions for the new year, I like intentions versus resolutions because we're not fixing anything. We're just getting even more clear. We're getting even more clear of what are we calling in? What are we putting our attention on for the new year? Because where our attention goes, our energy flows. If you are calling in magic for 2025, if you're seeking to manifest your most aligned, authentic, juicy, magical life, setting an intention is key. Getting clarity on what you are calling in, what you are desiring, getting as specific as humanly possible, and then creating an action plan to get there. That's so important, right? We can't just hope and pray and wish that magic's going to unfold. We get to get clear on what are we desiring, what are we wanting, what are we calling in, and how are we going to do that? What little baby action steps am I taking every single day? How am I showing up as my future self today, right now, in this moment? Not being too hard on ourselves, knowing that it's going to compound and build, but taking that step, taking that action, and making it happen. Because we can all manifest our dreams. It's just one little action away, and consistency. We need to take that action and take it every single day for 365 days, and you would be absolutely blown away with what happens. I'm sharing this with you. I'm sharing this with me. I'm using this to motivate you, me, us, all of us to step into our fucking power for the new year. I invite you to think of one word that encompasses what you are calling in for 2025. My word for 2025 is abundance. Abundance of gratitude, abundance of love, abundance of freedom, abundance of monetary success, abundance of impact, abundance of family, abundance of friends, abundance of opportunity, abundance in all areas of life, abundance and freedom. I'm wishing you guys all a very Merry Christmas. This is going to come out on Christmas. Thank you all for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and the next few episodes, honestly, are going to be fucking fire. Love and adore you guys. If you haven't already done so, please like, comment, subscribe, message me, let me know what you'd like to hear more about, and I am looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Happy New Year. Bye.